What's up, guys? I'm DK, and you're watching Pro Wrestling What If, the series where I look at the different what if scenarios as terms of the world that we call professional wrestling. Last year at WrestleMania 40, Cody Rhodes had finished the story and finally won the title that his father never got to hold, being the WWE Championship, ending the reign of the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns, where his reign began in August of 2020 and lasted a total of 1,316 days. Ever since that win, Cody Rhodes would go on to defend the title as much as possible with the likes of AJ Styles on 2 separate premium live events, Kevin Owens also on 2 separate premium live events, and would have the honor of being the final WrestleMania opponent for John Cena. Now, as I'm recording this, the match has yet to happen, so I have no clue whether Cody Rhodes has continued his 1+ year title reign, or we have finally witnessed John Cena achieve the goal of winning the 17th World Championship. Now, last year I did do a video about Cody Rhodes never leaving AEW in 2022, and although many people enjoyed it and liked what AEW would have been like, many people also wanted to know what would have happened on the WWE side of things if he didn't make his return at WrestleMania 38. So that's going to be the topic of today's video. We discuss what if Cody Rhodes had never returned to WWE in 2022. And because we have to discuss through a lot of things as terms to this timeline, I will be going through a year-by-year basis, starting off with 2022 all the way until this year in 2025, and discuss what I think would happen in this alternate timeline. And if you end up enjoying this video, don't forget to hit that like button, share this to all your friends, subscribe, and press the notification bell for when future episodes get released, and leave a comment down below about today's topic or suggesting a future topic for an episode of Pro Wrestling What If. 2022. To kick off the year was the infamous Day 1 PLE, where it created one of the biggest what ifs in the modern era involving Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. Within the same month was when Cody Rhodes had the ladder match with Sammy Guevara in AEW that was Cody's final match in the promotion. Even if Cody Rhodes had signed a new contract with AEW, what we saw in the first couple of months still occurs in WWE. The one individual I do think we have to focus on for 2022 here is Seth Rollins, since he would end up being Cody Rhodes' first rivalry when returning. So what would Rollins have done in this timeline? When Cody Rhodes' departure from AEW was announced, it was only a few days prior to the Elimination Chamber PLE in Saudi Arabia, and I believe WWE had no prior knowledge to Cody working without a contract at the beginning of 2022 and didn't start contract negotiations until the departure announcement was made. Had WWE been aware that Cody was technically a free agent and signed him earlier than they did, then that might have been the one thing to prevent the WWE and Universal titles from merging at WrestleMania 38. There were reports of the deal being finalized in the middle of March, which was when the storyline of Seth Rollins missing out on WrestleMania 38 began. After Elimination Chamber, Rollins had been either working tag team matches with Kevin Owens or involved in the US title picture on TV and house shows. And with Kevin Owens likely still being paired with Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 38, that Rollins' direction would have been going after the United States Championship. Finn Balor was the United States Champion at the time and wasn't featured on the card of WrestleMania 38 alongside Damian Priest, who was the previous champion. I think the United States Championship could have been contested in a multi-man match to fit more people on the card, with Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Damian Priest, perhaps we even add Austin Theory, since he had won the title from Finn Balor in the real timeline. This would also have us not witness the match with Pat McAfee that would turn into the match that Pat would have against Vince McMahon at the event, which we can live in a world without that. Due to the fact that Seth Rollins wouldn't be feuding with Cody Rhodes here, I think that he would be the one to walk out as the new United States Champion, especially since he had already won the title after his feud with Rhodes was done, and Finn Balor would end up dropping it to Austin Theory shortly after WrestleMania 38 in the real timeline. When it comes to the rest of 2022, it pretty much stays the same, besides the little change in the US title scene, as Cody wasn't there for the rest of the year due to injury. 2023. Roman Reigns is still entering the year with the Bloodline faction and has both the WWE and Universal Championship championships since the unification match still occurred at WrestleMania 38. With Cody Rhodes not in WWE, this would mean that we would have to have different Royal Rumble winners for both 2023 and 2024. So I think the winner of the 2023 Royal Rumble would have been Seth Rollins. Not only does this make sense with the history between Rollins and Reigns, but also due to there now being a follow-up from the match they had at Royal Rumble 2022 that ended in a disqualification. Just like with Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns would defeat Seth Rollins to retain the titles at WrestleMania 39, as WWE wanted him to surpass 1,000 days as champion, which he would do so at the Night of Champions PLE in Saudi Arabia a month later. Seth Rollins losing here can also be a catalyst for WWE to still create the World Heavyweight Championship that we ended up seeing be created after the event that would still result in Rollins becoming the inaugural champion. The Bloodline storyline in 2023 stays the same, with Sami Zayn turning his back on the group, the Night 1 WrestleMania main event for the Tag Team Championships, Bloodline Civil War, but the only difference is that instead of Jey Uso challenging Roman Reigns at SummerSlam, it would be Jimmy Uso. Roman Reigns would still retain at the event, but we would avoid the heel turn that happened, considering it would have been Jey to turn in this case. In the real timeline with the match at SummerSlam, Jey Uso would move to Raw and soon after become the undisputed tag team champions with Cody Rhodes. Now that Cody isn't in WWE here, I think Jimmy Uso would be sent to Raw as a stipulation to the SummerSlam match, with Jey being forced to stay in the bloodline like John Cena being forced to join Nexus back in 2010. This gives time to make Jimmy Uso a single star while adding more depth into the bloodline storyline, with Jey Uso being forced to stay and gaining sympathy from the crowd as we close out 2023. But with Jimmy Uso getting the singles run here as he goes to Raw, would he end up being the first person to say yeet? Shoutout goes to Jackson Weingart, Jada Sanchez, Fox Starkiller, Lola Pines, Hayden Serravo, Mr. Randomizer, Harry Dynamite Storm, and Spidey Fan Productions 2003. And the reason that they ended up getting a shoutout is because they joined our YouTube channel membership, which only cost $1.99 a month. Not only do you get the shoutout, but you do get lots of other perks, including early access to every single video and shorts that we produce on this channel. So definitely consider joining our YouTube channel membership. It will be greatly appreciated and will go a long way of helping out this channel a lot. So definitely consider it, but let's get right back to the video. 2024. Like I mentioned with 2023, due to Cody Rhodes having also won the 2024 Royal Rumble match, the winner would be different here, as my pick would be Gunther, which I will get into my reasoning in a little bit. Some people might say it should have been CM Punk considering he was in the final two, but I'm taking into effect that in this timeline, if Cody Rhodes stayed in AEW, that he might have been able to prevent the Brawl Out incident from happening. Therefore, living in a world where CM Punk may still have been in AEW as well. Now, my pick was originally going to be Jey Uso, considering the Bloodline saga began with the Jey and Roman matches at Clash of Champions and Hell in a Cell 2020 respectively. However, one individual prevents this from happening, which of course would be The Rock. The reason WWE was willing to pivot the direction they did during the real timeline's road to WrestleMania 40 was because Cody Rhodes was placed as the face of the WWE, while unfortunately Jey wasn't. Solo Sikoa would be the one to cost Jey Uso the Royal Rumble, as this would set up a match between the two at WrestleMania 40, with the stipulation that if Jey Uso wins, which he would be free from the bloodline. Gunther winning the Royal Rumble match would allow him to challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship, so they can set up The Rock versus Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship at WrestleMania 40 without the backlash it got. Jey Uso would continue to feud with the bloodline after WrestleMania, as we would see the additions of Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, and Jacob Fatu throughout 2024. Due to Gunther winning the Royal Rumble and walking out as World Heavyweight Champion at WrestleMania, he wouldn't be the one winning King of the Ring, which in this case, Jey Uso would end up being the winner to set up a match against Roman Reigns for the undisputed title at SummerSlam. A match where I do think Jey Uso would go over and dethrone the Tribal Chief and become the new champion, making the Bloodline storyline full circle from how it started back in 2020. Although I don't think Jey Uso would hold on to the title as long as Cody Rhodes has, I do think that he would hold on to the title throughout pretty much the rest of 2024 and perhaps even kick off 2025 as champion. Last but not least, 2025. Funny enough, when we talk about Royal Rumble, it just so happens that once again we're looking at a scenario where the winner of the real timeline so happens to be someone either not in WWE like Cody Rhodes in this case, or already a champion in this timeline like Jey Uso, who had actually won this match, so the winner would once again be different. The biggest focus I want to discuss for 2025 isn't so much on the bloodline at this point, but about the John Cena farewell tour, since John Cena's match at WrestleMania 41 would be against Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship. However, I think if Cody Rhodes isn't here, that John Cena wouldn't have turned heel because the WWE wouldn't have had a big enough face to do that turn. John Cena, in my mind, would still go through the struggle of not winning the Royal Rumble match to get his title opportunity at WrestleMania. He would still win the Elimination Chamber match like he did, but it would be for the World Heavyweight Championship instead of the WWE Championship. This would give us John Cena versus Gunther at WrestleMania 41, a match where I've said multiple times that had this happened, John Cena wouldn't be achieving the 17th World Championship at the event, but instead win it at a later date as he continues struggling throughout 2025 as the tour goes on to achieve the goal, and would likely dethrone Gunther at SummerSlam, where it will be the first two-night event of the biggest party of the summer in 2025.